Hi fashion people, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rehi. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew this silk slit skirt. You can make yours longer than mine, like a real midi skirt. So if you're interested in the process, let's get started. I'll start by showing you how to take the measurements. I tied bias tape around the waist. The skirt is actually a high waist skirt. I'll take the round waist measurement at that point. Make sure you take it firm to give a snug fit. The next measurement is the round hip. You will take the measurement at the fullest part of the butt. The next measurement is the waist to hip. You will take it from the waist to the fullest part of the butt. I'll be making use of 2 yards of this silk fabric. I divided the fabric into two, 1 yard for the front and 1 yard for the back. For the front, I'll fold the fabric in a triangle like so. I'll divide my waist circumference by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance, which is 30 inches divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. This will give me 8.5 inches. So I'll place my tape anywhere I have 8.5 inches. Mark and rule a line. This is my waistline. So here I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance, which is 8.5 inches. From the waistline, I'll mark my hip point, which is 10 inches, and rule a line. At the hip line, I'll place my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch seam allowance. I'll connect the waist to hip like so with a curve. Next is to mark the length of the skirt. I use 26 inches plus 1 inch for hem allowance, which is 27 inches. But you can actually use more than this if you're a tall person or you want it really midi. So I will place my tape at the waistline and mark the length of 27 inches all round. After that, I will connect the lines to get the hemline of the skirt. Take note of how I place the tape to mark the length of the skirt. From the hip, I'll connect down to the hem. I won't go down straight exactly. I'll come out a little and rule a line down. I'll come up by ½ inch at the waistline for seam allowance because I'll be using facing to finish the waistline. So I'll need that to sew. I'll go ahead and cut the front of the skirt. After cutting, this is what it looks like. The zipper will be at the side, so to cut the back, I will fold the fabric into a triangle, place the front, pin, and cut exactly like the front. I'll go ahead and cut facing for the back and the front. I'll place the skirt and trace the waistline and the side seam. The width of the facing will be 3 inches. I'll mark the 3 inches, connect and cut. I'll repeat the same thing for the back facing. After cutting the facing, I went ahead to press stay on the wrong side. I pressed stay on the zipper allowance too so that the zipper area will be flat and nice. I also weave the waistline, the side seam and the hem. This is to give it a neat finish. I'll place the facing on the fabric, right side facing each other, and stitch using ½ inch. But I won't stitch to the end. I'll stitch to 1 inch, the point for the zipper allowance. So here I'm done sewing the waistline. I stitched it to the point where I marked the 1 inch. So I will notch the place so I can differentiate my zipper allowance. I will notch the waistline, go to the sewing machine and top stitch. So as you can see, I've done that already. I went ahead to give it a good press. Next, I'll pin the front and the back together, right side facing each other. And I'll pin the side that doesn't have a zipper, facing to facing, fabric to fabric, and I'll sew at 1 inch. But please note, this fabric is Duchess and it's usually stretchy. So I advise you don't use 1 inch at the waistline. Use 1/4 and connect back to 1 inch at the hip line. This will cover up for the stretch the fabric has so that the waist won't be loose. For the side that has a zipper, I'll come down from the waistline by 8 inches, and from that point, I will sew down using 1 inch. After sewing, I will open up the seam and press, then fold the hem once and sew. This skirt comes out well with invisible zipper, so I'll be using invisible zipper to fix on the skirt. I will open up the zipper and press with iron. This will make it easier to sew as close as possible. This step is very important, especially when you are using the regular presser foot, although I'll be using the invisible zipper foot. I'll sew a temporal stitch from the end of the zipper space to the waistline. I'll rip open the seam later. After that, I'll open up the zipper and place on the zipper allowance, pin both sides and run temporal stitch on both sides. Just watch what I'm doing. Here I marked with a chalk to know where my stitch will end. This will guide me while stitching. Here I'm sewing temporal stitch from that point I chalked to the waistline on both sides. You can do this with your zipper zipped up or down, but I zipped mine down. On this other side, I'll start sewing from the waist down to the point I chalked. When I'm done sewing the temporal stitch, I'll rip open the seam. When I'm done, I'll remove the regular presser foot and fix the invisible zipper foot. If you don't have the invisible zipper foot, you can use the regular foot or the zipper foot, just that it is easier with the invisible zipper foot. I will sew both sides gently and carefully and closely too. I did that effortlessly with the invisible zipper foot. So I advise you invest in the invisible zipper foot. The zipper foot works well too, so you can get either of them. So when I'm done, I'll zip up. And here's the beautiful outcome. I'll change the invisible zipper foot to the zipper foot. Then I'll use the facing to cover the skirt like so and stitch about a quarter of an inch away from the zipper seam. I'll repeat same thing on the other side. Here I'm trimming to reduce bulk. I'll do the same thing on the other side. On the side seam that doesn't have zipper, to keep in place, I will bend the seam allowance over like so and stitch. I will stitch about a quarter away from the side seam allowance. When I'm done, I'll trim up a little to reduce bulk. If you are still watching this video at this point, kindly give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and also hit the notification bell to get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.